Welcome back to Games Revealed. I'm James and also The Brink, and today I want to talk about choices. Choices. We all like choices. You know me, if you've watched a couple of my videos, I love choices. That's why I like the Steam Deck. But there are a lot of choices to be made when choosing the portable gaming device of your dreams, I guess. And really, it comes down to a couple of things. Like, we have three devices or three device types that we're going to go over today: laptop, Switch, and hybrid, which is Steam Deck, right? It can kind of do a little bit of both. And so make sure to, wait until the end and just see if I got it right. And you can comment in the comments below, but make sure to watch the whole video. So before you do that, like, subscribe, bash that bell with your crowbar, and let's get into it. So first up, the laptop. This is the most expensive choice, obviously, at $1,500. And you can go cheaper. You can go to 1,000, 800. There's an option for about everyone, but if you want a decent, like, beefy laptop, 1,500 is kind of like the sweet spot I see, and there's sales, so keep that in mind. I was researching and found a 3070 Asus laptop for about $1,500. It was on sale, but there you go. 3070 mobile, awesome. It's an awesome chip to have on the go, and would be able to play most games on that laptop at 1080 at probably pretty close to maxed out, depending on the game. Obviously, that's always how it is in today's world. It really depends on the game, right? So the laptop is you're going to get the best performance slash best visuals out of the three, in my opinion. Now, there are performance upgrades you can do on some of the other ones to make it seem pretty good, especially depending on what type of game you get. But yeah, for the most part, that's what you're going to be getting with the laptop. You're going to be getting the best experience, in my opinion. It also has a screen on the go that's pretty big. You can usually about 15 inches is what you can expect in a $1,500 gaming laptop, which is awesome. So you can see stuff a little bit better. That being said, it also takes up a lot more space, a little bit less portable unless you bring a backpack, which I usually travel with my backpack. That's why I've gamed on my laptop on the go. Now, this is also a great main. Like, if you, I've used laptops, gotten some pretty beefy laptops and used them as my main PC for programming, game development, stuff like that. It still doesn't quite replace a desktop, so I still use a desktop now, but I tried it as an experiment in the past. But it's still, you can. So if you need to work, if you're a programmer, developer, well, about the same thing, game developer, let's say that, or if you're just anything else that doesn't need a high intense workload, laptops are great. You can use it as your main. You don't need to get a desktop, and you can then carry it around. So if you need to go to school or go to work, go travel, laptops are a great device for doing that. But with that does come the bulkiness, and you still have some issues with starting up a game quickly, especially if you're used to consoles, right? So really, laptops are good, but the next choice might be better for those who just want a gaming device, because laptops, they can be used for that, but Switch is, purely a gaming device. You can't really get work done on it. You can't really do anything. I've never heard of anyone hacking it or jailbreaking it and then like putting Microsoft Word on it. And so, and also the cost base is $299. It's much cheaper than a laptop. So if you're gaming on the go and you don't care about the highest performance or certain games, like, because obviously, I left out with the laptop, you can also do online games much easier, cheaper in the sense of like subscriptions. So if you have a lot of games that you like to play online, they might be a lot better on the laptop. But Switch still has some and still can be pretty fun for $299. It's not a bad choice. So I will say I don't recommend going with the light version, and it's purely because I've had to swap out the controllers on my Switch in the past. Really, Nintendo's fault. I mean, I'm really going to call Nintendo out on that. They did a really garbage job covering that whole drift issue. But I've had to swap out controllers, right? And that would have been much more difficult if they were just glued to the device like the light version. So I don't have a lot of trust in Nintendo, and that's why I don't usually recommend the light version. Now, if you don't care if this is a secondary device that you're eventually just going to drop in a year or two, maybe it's not as big a deal. But also, there's the OLED version for $349. That's a great version. I just go for the base. That's what I have. I like it. I do want an OLED version. I can't justify the price for that. And really, I can't justify anyone else getting it for that price unless you really want to spend $50 more. It's not a big, like, it is what it is. I like the $299 version quite a bit. So, like I said, it's pure gaming. You can jailbreak it and run emulators and some other stuff. I don't really recommend that. I recommend if you're going to go that route, just if you're going to be getting a new phone soon or need to get a new phone, or if you have an Android device, you can emulate on the Android device with just getting controllers. You can get little controller setups that will hook, your mobile phone into it, and you can play emulators that way. And sometimes they work good, sometimes they don't. But at least you don't jailbreak and potentially have potential of not updating your system in the future and not being able to play newer games. From my understanding, that's a thing. So that's one of the reasons I really haven't jailbroke my Switch, because I mainly play first party titles on that, and maybe a couple other ones like Witcher, which I don't really play that much because it's really not that good on there. But it does do a good job. Like, there's first party, like if you like Mario, if you like anything that Nintendo makes, they do an amazing job. And they even have some great third party games that are just highly optimized, and they look great. It's amazing how they got Doom to actually function on that. But hey, you know what? That's the beauty of having a console for a handheld, is that it's just, you're going to get the best performance typically, just not visuals. They're going to really down those visuals to get that performance in there. So it is dated tech. I have a hard time recommending a Switch to someone right now unless they want something that's gaming on the go for sub $500. The Steam Deck is, if you don't have a reservation, you're not going to be getting one for a year. So it's really hard. That's the hardest part about these choices, and that's why I made this video, actually, is because some people just won't be getting their Steam Deck for a while. And to be honest, if you plan on traveling or needing a device to game on the go, the Switch might be your best bet, and maybe even the Lite version, because if you plan on getting a Steam Deck in a year or two, then I don't think you're going to run into too many issues with that Lite version. But if you plan on playing it for 5 years, I recommend going with the base, of course. And that's really what this comes down to. This video, I guess, is really, if the Steam Deck was readily available right now, I'd just be like, yeah, go get a Steam Deck. If you needed something for work, get a laptop instead. I would even put Switch really on this list, because I really think that this hybrid device, the Steam Deck, is a great option, and it does do a pretty good job of feeling like a console. I don't have one yet. I've watched people play on it a bunch. It looks like a really good experience. Some people are going to have to get used to a little bit more complexity in their UI. I mean, I've had to, even with the PS5, they added complexity to it. Had to get used to it. It is what it is. But the experience you're going to have over the Switch, I feel like, is going to be drastically better, just from the price of games to how many games you have on the device that's supported. So the cost of the Steam Deck is $399 at a base cost. And really, with that, I want to add, you're probably going to need an SD card. And even with the Switch, you're going to need to add an extra $50 for, and I'd recommend getting like a 256 or a 512, probably a 512 gigabyte. You can go up to terabyte, but I'm trying to keep this a little bit lower on the cost. And so $449 is probably a more reasonable price on the Steam Deck, because you're going to want that extra space. The 64 gigabytes that it comes with for the base one just isn't enough to get enough games on there. And it could be enough for some people. Maybe you only want to play 4 games at a time, but I recommend getting an SD card with it. With the Steam Deck, this is where it becomes a hybrid mode. You can do desktop mode with it. You can run desktop apps. It is Linux. Windows is kind of crappy, but you can still do it. So from my understanding, you'd be able to do WordPress, or not WordPress. I keep on saying WordPress. As a programmer, I guess, if you're doing WordPress programming, you can do WordPress, but you can also do, Microsoft Word, I guess. That's such an old school program. I don't know why you wouldn't use Google Docs, you fossil, but really, you can run multiple programs on the Windows one. It works. Is it perfect? No. But also Linux has Wine. It also has the Proton for games, Wine typically for desktop applications that are Windows. And I've had pretty good success with that type of stuff. I'm going to have to test it out to see how good the desktop mode is and how much work you can get done. But I'm assuming as a programmer, I'd be able to get anything done I needed. Just game development might not be the thing. So if you're a game developer, you might need a laptop if you need to do a little bit of development on the go. It's still not the best experience for a game developer, but still, if you need to do it on the go, laptop is your best choice there. With the Steam Deck, you still have additional prices you have to pay if you want to go into desktop mode to do more work than just game on it, which would be a screen for like around $200, keyboard and mouse for $70 to $100. And these are all rough estimates. Like, this is stuff I would about spend if I was getting it for this device. So you're looking more into the $700 range for a decent desktop on the go device that you can get started if you're just getting started into like programming or something like that. It's pretty cool. With that, you have like, so it has the console capabilities. So if you don't do anything to it when you start it up, you're in the console experience of the Steam UI and it looks great. And then you can inject and to a desktop experience later down the road if you want. So if you don't want to do the desktop mode ever, desktop experience, you don't have to. You can just stick with the base UI and just go, play games to your heart content. But you have options, and I love options. So with that, the performance on this is balanced. It's better than the Switch. You're going to get better performance and visuals. You also have more options to really tweak it, whether or not you want more performance or like, make it so it hits 60 frames per second. So it's a smoother gameplay, or you can, beef that thing up, get the 30, lock it into 30 frames per second, and reduce maybe the visuals and also adjust some like the wattage usage. And you can really pound out actually quite a bit of battery life on this. The Switch is going to be one of the better ones for gaming on the go battery life. Laptop is going to be probably the least performance to, or like gaming sessions. Your gaming sessions won't be as long on the laptop. Then it's going to go to Steam Deck, and then it's going to go to Switch as the winner in the sense of like length of time. But I've seen some pretty crazy numbers on the Steam Deck getting that battery to just eke out a little bit more. So also the controllers on the Steam Deck are just by far the best out of the three. Switch it's capable. I wouldn't go beyond that. I really wouldn't get the Switch and get the base controllers. Like, I have these controllers. I have bigger hands though, for longer play sessions and for doing, if I need to if I'm playing a harder game, I need a better controller. The controllers are, from a hardware and designs aspect, are really cool. From an actual practicality, there's a reason why they're not bulky, and they don't work as well as I would say a Steam Deck. Steam Deck gets bulkier, the device is bulkier, it's still portable, it's less portable than the Switch. Some people can slap that Switch into their pocket, if you have really big pockets. I've seen it happen, but really, like the Steam Deck and the Switch, I know people really shout about the Switch's portability, but in a practical sense, like with a case and all that, they're about the same really. Which you could just carry that case around with you or slap it into a backpack, which then comes into the laptop's portability. But yeah, and really, like I said, the controls are really good with the Steam Deck. They're the best. I'm an FPS kind of person, so the laptop might be a little better for me with FPSs. But if I'm on the go, if this is my secondary, the controls are, on the Steam Deck are going to be just fine. I'll even play FPSs like that. And that, I guess, comes down to the final piece on this. First, just let's summarize this whole thing, right? If you have a secondary, if you have your main PC, if you have a desktop PC, then laptop, I'd probably, unless you need to do work on the go with a Switch or a Steam Deck. If you don't have any PC and you don't plan on doing much work, and you just want to purely game, then the Switch and the Steam Deck are the right choice. One being much easier to get right now than the other. Steam Deck is really the biggest problem. It's not really the Steam Deck's fault per se as much as Valve or just, hype, people wanting it. Steam Deck, you just can't really get right now. But if you could get it right this moment off the shelves or whatever it's going to be sold, Steam Deck, hands down, I think is going to be your best choice. But in the meantime, if you need something to play, Switch. So really, that being said, those are just the pluses and minuses, the ins and outs of each one of those. And really, a laptop might be the greatest asset for you if you're trying to build a career that requires a lot of desktop usage. Desktop is in like the laptop desktop, getting in and using certain applications. If nothing like that matters, then Switch and Steam Deck. So that being said, that's it. let's end this video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out our Discord in the description below, and let me know in the comments below what you think. Which device are you going with? I'm sure a lot of you are going to say Steam Deck, and that's a good choice. But some of you might need to go with the laptop for a while, and especially if you need something now that can program, do something, do whatever. Laptop's a great choice. So let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Watch my other videos. Catch you guys next time. Peace out.